Hey yo, I'm Colby from Sanitarian Productions. We're back again with another edition of What's in the Box. In this episode, we're taking a look at Descent, Journeys in the Dark, 2nd edition, the board game. Very cool looking box, pretty awesome. I'm going to flip this over on its side here. More artwork. And on the back, we have a pretty cool picture of, what's in the game and everything else. Cool dragon up here at the top. I like that thing. This came from Fantasy Flight Games, and it came out in 2015 according to the box here. It is for 1 to 5 players and takes around 2 to 3 hours to play. It's basically a dungeon crawler game with some cool miniatures and some cards and all this other cool stuff that we will look at here in a second. There is also a very cool companion application for your phone, your computer, what have you, that you can download and kind of play for free. It essentially lets you, it lets the computer play as the dungeon master for all intents and purposes, which is a very cool kind of side thing here. It looks very interesting. Today we're just going to go ahead and dive into the box itself and just kind of see what's in the game itself. We're not going to do a real in-depth look at the actual gameplay or anything like that, much like the other episodes we've done of What's in the Box. We're just going to start out by slicing this and pulling the shrink wrap off. Very big box, very heavy, so should be pretty awesome here. Let's go ahead and shake this thing a little bit to get it to slide out. Pop. Cool cardboard. In the box, we have a insert for some other games from Fantasy Flight. Very cool. I do want to grab a couple of other games in this thing here. They got some really cool stuff that they're doing here. Anyways, there's the insert. We have the rulebook for the 2nd edition. We'll just flip through this real quick. It kind of just shows you how to lay out everything, how to go about playing normal rule stuff here. I do like the paper that it's printed on. It's this nice glossy paper. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty straightforward. Another cool dragon down here at the bottom. Then we have the Heirs of Blood Quest Guide, Act 1 and Act 2. So there is an actual second edition, I guess you might say, which has a slightly different quest in it. For those of you that pick it up in one of the refreshes, you may not get this Heirs of Blood particular quest. There'll be a different one in there. And if you do pick up one of these first release 2nd editions, you can go buy the hardcover version of the new released quest, which is slightly different than this one, which is pretty cool, but I don't have that one right now, so we'll look at that later. So let's just flip through this quest book real quick. Got some really nice artwork. We don't really want to spoil too much here for you. So we'll just do this really quick so you can kind of see. And we'll not look at everything, but just flip through it real quick. Pretty much laid out like most of these board games are. I need to make one little correction here. I went back and double checked everything, and this Heirs of Blood quest guide that comes with the box set we just looked at is actually the 2nd release version. So the original release was the Shadowrun campaign. So if you have this 2nd edition version of the 2nd edition, you will get the Heirs of Blood campaign guide. So if that's the case, you don't really need to look at that new book that just came out. It's basically just this campaign here in a hardback format. So yeah, you can kind of skip that. And there's been some talk about the publishers may release the Shadowrun campaign in a book format as well later on down the road. So you can look forward to that. But just a small correction here. Heirs of Blood is actually the second release of the second edition. So should be all good now. Then we've got an insert for the actual companion application that we were talking about earlier. The Road to Legend. Very cool. Again, it'll run on your phone or on your computer. You can get it through Steam or the App Store for Apple or Google. So, very cool looking. We've got some tile packs. We'll open these things up in a minute here. We've got a teeny tiny set of cards. And again, we'll open these up here in a second as well. We've got some character sheets. We've got some dice and some holders for some things that we'll look at in a minute. We've got another stack of cards. We got this cool blue insert that when you pop it out, set this to the side somewhere here. We have all the miniatures in here. So they got some pretty cool stuff in here. And we will go ahead and take a look at that as well. But this is pretty much what's in the box. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at these individual things and just kind of quickly glance over them and then get to the miniatures and do a closer look at those. So stick with us. We're going to go ahead and start with these tile sets and just open them up and take a look at these tiles. They do come shrink wrapped, so you'll have to cut that off. So let's see, here is the first board, and we'll try to do this without knocking all these things out, but they've got slightly different things on the front and the back. So you've got like a rock path, and on the back side you've got more of the corridors of a castle, and looks like an overgrown walkway, castle, whatever, garden kind of thing. And a bunch of these little hearts. I guess those are life tokens or something to that effect. I don't know. Again, haven't looked at the rules completely yet, so don't know. More tiles. We got these cool outdoor kind of thing. Here's like a garden. We got a nice creek running through the middle of that one. Some more cool dungeon kind of stuff here. More outside stuff. A cool house or cottage or whatever you want to say. Very cool looking though. Nice bridge. A cool little pool. That one's on fire. Campground. Looks like a crypt or a cemetery. Another little cabin kind of thing. An old busted wagon. And a skeleton dude. Very cool. Nice one. The artwork on these things is really nice. It's kind of small, but looks to be about in line with the traditional Dungeons and Dragons kind of scale. So should work pretty well for anybody that's just looking for an addition. There's a piece of tape or something on this one. String, it looks like. and the doors and gateways and a bunch of other little tokens and character things and stuff that I don't know what they are yet. So very cool. All in all, nice tile set. For the sake of argument, let's grab one of these and one of our Dungeons and Dragons miniatures from the epic level starter set. Just a traditional character, so they fit on here. It's basically a 1x1 square. So yes, this would work really well for any Dungeons and Dragons game as well. So it adds value by being able to, have more settings this way. So if you just want to use the tiles for that, should work relatively well for you. So bonus. So here we have the dice and the accessory kit. So we'll go ahead and just unbox this, unbag it, so you can kind of see everything that's in here. Just dump these out. So we've got some very cool dice. These are game specific, so you probably won't be using them much for any other game, but again, they're mostly just dice, so you can kind of make your own rules with these however you want to, but still pretty nice. They feel nice and roll pretty well. So the other part of this is these little stands. So in the tile pack that we just looked at, the gates and the doors, they actually just slip into here, and it creates a little three-dimensional door for your characters to kind of walk up against and interact with. So that's cool. They're just little stands though, so not a whole lot in this little accessory pack, but still pretty nice. Here we have the character sheets. I do like that they have everything in these Ziploc bags, so you can reseal it and kind of keep it together. Front looks like that. The back looks like that. And they are different on the front and back, but still, the artwork on these things is very nice. So let's just flip through these things. We've got a Asheron, Grisbin the Thirsty, nice looking dwarf, Sindral, Jane Fairwood, Tumble Borrowell, Widow Tara, and Lyric of the Book. So pretty nice little character cards here. Again, I do like the artwork on these things. They look very nice. They're slightly cartoonish, but still fairly realistic too. And I'm more of a realistic style than the cartoon style, but it still works pretty well. So anyways, that is the character sheets. Next up, we've got these cards. Don't know what they are yet, so let's open them up. These little bags have this little blue thing on them. I don't really know what that blue thing is for, but we have it anyways. So if anybody knows what that stands for or what it meant for, if that's just a production thing, then feel free to drop some comments in the section below. So the back of these things are just kind of regular art. These are pretty nice. We're just going to flip through these things real quick here. And I'm just checking to see what the back of these looks like, because I think they'll change at some point. I guess these are like the monster cards or the action cards, however you want to look at that. This one's Curse of the Monkey God. A slightly different card here. We've got the Hero Turn Summary and the Overlord Turn Summary. So if you have 4 players playing you get one apiece, and then if you need a fifth one, you can have to share. So the Overlord is essentially the DM, so it's the person controlling the bad guys in this case. So that's what the companion app will actually do for you, is play that Overlord character. These here are some of the villains. An Etten, a Flesh Molder, Elementals, Mariod, Shadow Dragon. That's cool. So there's the cards that we have, and they're pretty cool. I do like them. Next up, we've got these really tiny cards. So let's look at them and see. I'm not really a big fan of these smaller cards because they are a little easier to lose. So there's Shadow Runes. These are, I guess, just the accessory cards. And we'll flip these over this way now. These are pretty nice, even though they are small. This is probably boring, but I just want to flip through them and see what they got. Some cool weapons. There are a lot of cards here. There we go, last one. Pretty cool. And now we come to the main draw for a lot of people, the miniatures. Let's go ahead and dump this bag out and just look at all these things and see what we got. So I know a lot of people are actually interested in this set mainly for the miniatures, to add a little bit more to their game for Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. So let's look at these things and see what we got. Some of these are kind of stuck together a little bit here. So bear with me while I try to figure out how to pry them apart. That's pretty crazy. There we go. There's our 2 dragons. We'll just get them all kind of set up here, then we will look at them individually and see what we got here. But let's try to make some semblance out of this. These things are very nicely sculpted. They got a really nice amount of detail work in these things. Okay, now that we got them all straightened out, let's just start over here and work our way over. So up first we have this cool looking spider. So I'm hoping that the light here is able to give you a good impression here, but very cool looking spider. Again, really awesome detail level. Let's do this. So for scale comparison, we've got regular Dungeons and Dragons figure that we've used for some of these other reviews, so you can kind of see the scale. Very cool looking, though, regardless. And let's just grab one of the player characters here. So it pretty much is in scale with the regular, what is that, 28mm Dungeons and Dragons scale. So all these are pretty well in scale. We've got some of these smaller guys that are going to be smaller, obviously. Here's the dwarf guy, which is pretty well spot on. The knight guy is about the same size as this guy. They may be a little bit smaller, to be honest with you, but it's not bad, so it's cool. The miniatures actually work pretty well with the scale of everything anyway, so you don't have to worry too much. But, so we got a spider there, and we are just going to go ahead and pull out another spider. And another spider. So 3 of those spiders, 4 of those spiders. Here's another one. And here's a red one as well. It's the same sculpt, but just in this red plastic. So that's kind of cool. I don't see any more spiders hiding around. Luckily, I don't really like spiders. So 5 spiders. Then we've got this cool, I guess it is a lion, but it's a zombie lion, I guess you could say. One half of it's kind of showing bones and mottled face and everything, and the other side is still pretty normal, so that's pretty cool. It's really nice. We got a lion. We got a couple of these, so there's 1, 2 more. And a red one. Again, I don't know what the difference is between the white ones and the red ones here. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. Let's grab this guy. This is a Marin. Is that what I remember it's coming from? So it's something like a kraken and a shark, but he's got tentacles on his head. This is really cool looking. I do actually like this thing. This is a crazy looking character. But again, very nice sculpt here. They do really good work. You can see all the little teethies in there, and so very cool looking. I do like that guy. We got 2 of those. A red one and a white one, so cool. Looking at some of these bigger guys here, we've also got the Etten, 2-headed troll looking thing. The big old spike mace. Again, really nice sculpt work here. And you also have 2 of those, a red one and a white one here, so very nice. It's the same sculpt, just in the different colors. That is really cool looking. And let's go with one of these, let's actually go with this red guy here. It's a little easier to see the red on the camera with the lights I got, so we'll do that. So I guess this is one of the elementals. Again, really nice job on the sculpt here. Very cool looking. And we do get 2 of those as well. Those are very awesome. And let's see here. I'm going to save the dragons for the last, so let's just go left to right here. We've got a troll guy or a goblin guy with a bow and arrow. Again, nice sculpt. We got another one of the same in the red, so you can see a little bit more of the detail work on that. And I don't see, oh, there's one more of them. We do have some duplicates of these guys, so that's not a bad thing if you're doing army builds and things like that. So it's good to have some of these characters as, you know, army builders, I guess you would say. Simply because it's a little harder and your tactics do change up when you're facing more than one of them. So I like that. We got some zombie guys, I guess, here. Cool looking zombie guys. Couple of those. Then we've got, there's another zombie guy in red. Looks like for all of these, actually, when we have multiples of them, you've got 4 of the white ones and 1 of the red ones. So I guess the red one is the slightly more powerful guys. Sounds good to me. Next up we have, I guess this was the necromancer guy. Let me grab the red one here. Might be a little easier to see. He's got some cool stuff going on here. Some cool fiery things and like a hand jumping out of his side, and his coattails are kind of rolling up all over the place. So that's really cool. And again, we've got some multiples of him. Looks to be following the same kind of scheme here. You've got the white ones and then the one leader guy, which is the red one, so I guess that makes sense. Then we have, I guess these are the player characters, and they are in gray. Let's see, this may pick up a little bit better. Some, again, really nice detail work on these things. They look really cool. And we've got a knight guy. And a archer chick. The halfling rogue kind of person. The warrior lady. Very nice looking. We got a shaman looking guy. And the cool looking dwarf. And the other warrior lady. So yeah, these are really, really awesome. Very nice sculpts on all of these. And then the last 2 we have are the dragons. These are extremely awesome looking dragons. They're a little bit small for my tastes, but they still look really nice and they are pretty awesome. So again, you get the red one and the white one. Same sculpt on both of them. So it's nice to get 2 dragons. Again, just for comparison's sake here, we've got the regular D&D character and the dragon boss from this set. So again, the size, they're a little bit small, but they're really not that bad, so you can fit them into most of your campaign needs, I think. These would look really awesome in that black and green from the rulebook. So anyways, these are really awesome miniatures. They're really cool. So that's been our look at what's in the box for Descent Journeys in the Dark 2nd edition. It is a very cool set. It does have a slightly hefty price tag. It runs $65, $70 some dollars. The price may go down at some point, I don't know, but I actually got mine on sale for about $70, and for the price, again, it's a little steep, but not too terribly outlandish for a game of this type. And I do think it's really worth the money. So you do get a ton of really awesome miniatures. You get some really cool dungeon tiles to work with. You get some cool campaigns. There is the really cool companion app that you can get to kind of help run this for you. And there are a ton of expansions out and available for this game, so you know you're not going to get really bored with it unless you just don't like this type of game, in which case you probably won't be playing it anyways. But for the price, it is a really good game, and I would say it's highly recommended. You should definitely try to pick it up and at least give it a go, see what you think about it. And if nothing else, again, you can get it and use just the miniatures in some of your traditional Dungeons and Dragons games and other role-playing games as well. So yeah, go out, pick this thing up and see what you got. That's all the time we've got today, so thanks for watching. Drop some comments down below, let us know what you think. Have you played this 2nd edition of Descent? If you did, what did you think about it? If you have recommendations for some of the expansion packs to pick up, drop those comments down below as well and let us know. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and be on the lookout for more awesome games and action figures and miniature stuff and whatever else I decide I want to put on this channel. So, till next time, game on.